Oh, yes indeed. Welcome to the 5 o'clock showing of the What If session. Wait, I forgot my mic. Welcome to the 5 o'clock showing of the What If session with Mark Volz, your host. Today our question is, what if the sun would burn out? How long do you think, you, the viewer, think it would take for the earth to completely freeze? I'm going to take you on an adventure and show you 5 different people and what those 5 different people think. Check this out now.
Okay, Mr. Cox, I got a question for you. What if the sun were to go out? How long do you think it would take for the earth to freeze completely, and why?
4 days. 13 minutes.
13 minutes.
It'll take 13 minutes because as soon as the sun goes out, when we think of night, we think of it being dark, right? But when the sun goes out, then there's no sun at all. Like when it's dark, the sun's on the other side of the world. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
if the sun actually went out, there would be no heat processed throughout the entire Earth. Therefore, no energy coming from the sun to keep water from freezing. So it would be an instant freeze over. In a matter of 13 minutes, the oceans and everything would actually freeze over. That's my 2 cents. That's what I think.
Thank you very much. And this is Mr. Cox, the U.S. history teacher. Thank you.
Oh, yes indeed, ladies and gentlemen, for our next interview today, we have a very, very special guest on the set with us. He did ask me, however, to shut off all the lights for his special entrance. So, set crew, can we please kill the lights? Lights back on stage, please. And ladies and gentlemen, we are in the presence of Chris Brown. That is right, Chris Brown, the 55-year-old dentist from Versailles, Indiana. Chris Brown, thank you for coming on my show today.
Hey, it's a pleasure.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Okay, so I got a question for you today. It's a what-if question, since we are on the what-if sessions. What if the sun were to burn out? How long would it take for the earth to freeze completely, and why?
Well, Mark, I'm glad you asked me that question because, you know, really, I've put a lot of thought into this, especially thinking about in the presence of global warming. You see, there's a lot of thought about global warming, but there's one thing that just hasn't been thought about, and it's a very important point. Because, see, if the sun did go out, that would cause a problem. But you know, what would happen if the sun went out at night? You wouldn't know for like 8 hours because you're sleeping, right? No one thought of that before. But what happened if it went during the day? Well, that could be a problem. But then again, I guess it just depends on where you're at during the day, because if it's at noon, you might not know for as long as, like, say it was at 6 in the morning. So the people that are asleep at night, it wouldn't make any difference for a while. People during the day, it may make a difference. Now the freezing thing, well, it kind of just depends on where you are, because if you're at the North Pole or the South Pole, what's the difference, right? But if you're in Florida, it may make a difference. So what would I do? Well, if it was a night, I would watch every infomercial that I can and buy that juicer I've always wanted, or I would buy the ab organizer and the buns of steel and the thigh master. And by the time the earth froze, I would be hot, if you know what I mean.
Is that all you have for us today, Chris Brown?
Well, yeah, I think that's about it, and I think my theory should be taken quite seriously. And yes, I will contact Al Gore with my theory. In fact, I've called him several times, and he's yet to return my call. But I'm optimistically waiting.
Thank you very much, Chris Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been our second interview. Chris Brown, thank you very much. ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you back from our commercial break to the What If sessions for our third interview of the day. Randomly, we have picked out one student from the crowd. His name is Stuart Hamer. He attends Greensburg High School. I would like to welcome Stuart Hamer on my show. Please bring Stuart Hamer out.
Oh, I'm such a big fan of your show.
Hey,
I mean,
thanks.
I was backstage and I thought that was the real Chris Brown. I mean, I'm so excited to be here. What would you like to ask me?
Sure. Well, since this is the What If sessions, I'm going to ask you a what if question. Go figure. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. What if, Stuart, what if the sun were to burn out? How long would it take for the earth to completely freeze, and why do you feel that way?
It's a pretty tough question, I'm not gonna lie.
Chris Brown handled it pretty well.
I'm a big fan, but I'm gonna have to go with a different answer and say, I'm gonna say it only take maybe like 6, 7, maybe 8 days, couple hours.
Thank you for clearing that up.
I don't know, give or take a couple hours, because I mean it's so far away. It'd probably take a while to get a little cold, and the oceans are so deep. I mean, I don't think they'd be able to freeze that fast. I mean, I heard someone thought they were like it'd take like 13 minutes or something like that. Didn't you do an interview with someone? I mean,
Yeah, some weird guy named Derek Cox at my school. I mean, he's a teacher. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's U.S. history. I mean, I asked him a scientific question. I mean,
Yeah, I was watching the other day and I heard him say 13 minutes. I was like, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I had a dream about this once actually. You know, it's probably a couple months ago. Yeah, I think it was about 6 days, maybe 7. I can't remember.
Must have been a pretty intense dream.
I do have some intense dreams. Like one time actually, I was dreaming about me being on the ship, and we ran into this iceberg, and it broke in half, and like thousands of people died. And I was with this girl, and she was on this door, and she was like, she called me Jack, and she always said, Jack, never let go.
Now, Stuart, I don't mean to interrupt, but were you dreaming about the Titanic?
Is that a movie or something?
Yes.
You know, now I think about it, I think I was watching the Titanic.
Go figure. Okay, well now, due to time constraints, we need to stick to our question here.
Oh yeah.
Any other feelings?
It really is a tough question.
That is
That's
very true.
probably all I got, but yeah, I'd say about 8, 9, maybe 10 days.
Okay. Is
A
that all
couple
you got?
hours.
Is that all you got?
I think that's all.
Well, Stuart Hamer, I appreciate you coming on the What If sessions.
No, it's my pleasure. I love your show.
Thanks, man. I tell you what, you go backstage, we'll get you hooked up with autographs and merchandise and everything like that.
Are you serious?
Absolutely.